Actually, have some pretty cool projects I'm doing for Tire Pros.
Yeah.
And bro, so guess who's making their first 2400 in the beginning of January?
You got a marketing contract?
With Tire Pros Vista.
Nice.
So I'm doing $200 a month for the entire year, but the way it works is ATD pays me up front for the whole year, and then I'm contracted for the whole year.
ATD?
Because Gabe pays it through like his advertising program, because he gets kickbacks in certain ways, and so he can build advertising dollars. So he's spending his advertising dollars, and ATD just pays me directly, because it's basically that's how they do it. They loan the money, they pay the third party up front, and then they get their money back from the dealer based on the kickback dollars amount that they make. So you're like selling like Hercules brand.
Oh, okay. Kind of like co-marketing effort or something.
Exactly. So, but regardless, like cutting the fucking middleman out, and ATD is paying me $2,400 at the beginning of the year. Dude. So I'm like super fucking stoked about that, because that's like honestly, it's just rent money,
Yeah.
Just like survivability money to be able to have the like time to be able to invest more time into my business to go after more dealers.
It's really key to get money up front too.
Yes, and then in February, I'm going to freaking Orlando, Florida, Disney World for the Tire Pros conference.
Dude.
So we got to talk about that on this.
You gonna vlog it?
I really want to. I really want to vlog it, dude. Like,
or just like do some Instagram stories or something.
I'm itching to like get really good content from it. I'm taking my camera.
Insanity, dude.
Vlogging is insanity. Like Gary Vee and all these fools that pump out that shit every day is just.
Dude, well, he has his own team.
All right, let's
address the audience. So, what's up, guys? We are back with another episode of the Zack and Gabe podcast. Gabe and Zack podcast, whatever we call on this thing. And today we don't really have a set list of topics, but we're going to be talking about some good things. We're going to be talking about my business, his business, and whatever else comes up. So,
some personal
thank you guys for coming along with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, listening along on the podcast.
Appreciate all of you. Thanks for all the follows, all the views, all the likes on the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to comment a little bit more and help us out.
Social validation, little dopamine hit, we respond to all the comments. So, anyways,
yeah, dude. So
speaking of comments, my LinkedIn local Sydney video, reached over 10,000 views.
Holy crap, dude! That's a pretty huge milestone for you.
Yeah,
I remember it was like at 8,000. I think when I like recognized it, and I was like, wait a minute.
I shared it a couple more times, and then we went over and. So for those of you guys that don't know, I went to Sydney, Australia at the beginning of this month.
Lucky.
And the only really reason I went was the only thing I had planned was to go to this LinkedIn local Sydney, because I'd been going to a lot of LinkedIn locals from like New York to Boston.
So how have those LinkedIn locals been? Like,
very good.
Have they like helped you with your networking? Like, have you met people that you've maybe collaborated with or found gigs off of?
Collaboration, and it's the whole concept of online to offline. So you have these connections on LinkedIn online, but then you
never
build
really
deep connections in person. Talk about the person behind the profile, not really to pitch, but like, all right, you do marketing, but like, you may talk about your gaming passion at one of these LinkedIn locals, and then that may connect with someone else who doesn't do gaming, but they have a passion for gaming. So boom, now you have a shared interest.
Esports or whatever it is.
Yeah. And then, I always do videos afterwards, which is nice because then, even if I didn't talk to everyone at that LinkedIn local, then they can get to see a piece of my life through that video, and then also help market the events. So yeah, my previous most viewed video had like 8,000 views. It was my top 10 LinkedIn creators. Mm-hmm. And so that one got a lot of traction because everyone was kind of interested in it, and I tagged those 10 people. And the way the algorithm works is like when you tag someone, they see it, they comment, then shows it to their network. So really, it kind of blew that one out of the water.
You're kind of exploiting the algorithm a little bit there.
A little bit on
or
that
just
one,
pushing it to the limit.
And for example, like the Sydney video, I tagged all the panelists that were speaking at that event. So that they commented, and then that went out to, so like over 2,000 people were just from Sydney.
I mean, to be quite honest, that's like extremely genius.
It's a hack because, there's no other way that, the slight chance that my content would have been shown to those 2,000 people in Sydney if I'm just over here in the States just doing my own thing, right?
Right.
So it's that cross-pollination of networks.
Yeah.
That's really valuable. So that's really the only reason I went, was just to Well, I just like traveling, you know. I wanted to see all the continents.
I mean, if you're any type of adventurer, like who wouldn't want to go to Sydney? Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of my places I want to go and visit and see eventually.
Yeah. Had the free flights, and so that helped.
That always helps. Free flight, free anything always helps.
Yeah, and and it was just a really quickly edited vlog, very visual, very little words actually, and so it was kept the viewer attention. And then the algorithm picked that up, and you know people really liked it. So, you know that was a good video. You know.
Yeah, and so I mean, just kind of going back to like solidifying that connection, or like you know further deepening those connections that these people you meet online. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about. It's just so obviously different, you know, not only physically, but mentally. You really start to like. You know, associate that person with that experience that you met. So, you know, you connected online, just like an example in like gaming world, like I was like playing on a team for like 6 months. I'd never met anybody. And then I went and I met them at a tournament that we played at. And then all of a sudden we started playing better because there was this bond that was just never there. So like there's something really to be said about actually solidifying a bond of your network, not just purely trying to dominate like an online world and like never meet any of these people. I think if anything, it's all about actually like a way to connect.
Right. You want to connect on multiple levels of senses.
Exactly.
Touch, shake a hand,
mm-hmm,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sight. You're seeing them in 3D now instead of just 2D on a screen, right?
Dude, that's so weird. When Alora was, it's funny you mentioned that. When Alora, my fiance, was in China for 3 months, and like we were, you know, FaceTiming all the time, and then when I saw her, I was like, whoa, like she looks so beautiful. Like, what the heck? This is so different, you know. But it's like you just see them on the screen for so long, and you're like, you get used to the screen, and then you see them, you're like, whoa, like you're actually real, like you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's a really weird feeling.
I get that feeling when I met like Goldie Chan and Quentin Allen's, like all these very high profile LinkedIn influencers, and I'm like, shit, I'm actually seeing them in person. It's kind of crazy.
Didn't Goldie just do like some huge panelist event recently?
She did. She did something like she actually just started writing for Forbes, so now she's a Forbes contributor.
That's awesome! Wow, congrats to her.
And it's very cool.
That's sweet. I mean that's what it's all about, right? That's why you guys all start producing content. I mean, I know in your case you have your own goals, but she had her own goals.
Yeah.
But now she's writing. So
and she was an influence for my the Daily Z, which I have retired since. I did almost 90 to 100 days, missing just a handful. And it started to get a diminishing return on my value. Like when I think I saw like this time where daily posts were almost getting pushed down. So it was almost like I was kind of spamming it.
Like in the algorithm, or
yeah.
Okay.
So like I was almost being punished for posting daily. It seemed.
Okay.
Or I don't know if it was the algorithm or just people got too used to seeing my videos, so then they just scrolled past it. So I needed to take that step back and just kind of like reevaluate what is my focus, and that's really what I've been doing over the last 6 months is slightly shifting and changing what I've been doing, to find out what area of this space that I like operating in best, where I the cross section of my passion and value and what's needed in the market.
Yeah.
So while I was tied down to my job, I couldn't really do that. It's like I needed to fully detach, go into the ether. Figure out where I wanted to be, and then now I'm slowly starting to actually reattach.
Yeah.
So
I think I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, so just from a practical point, what's better, posting 8 videos 8 days in a row and each getting an average of 1,000 views, or posting one video getting 8,000 views? Majority of the people are probably watching that full video because it's that good.
Well, supply and demand too. Right. You know what I mean? If it's there all the time, then there's kind of like a can't think of the word, but there's a less valuable sense about what that video is or says. Right. You know what I mean? But if because I watch certain people on YouTube, you know what I mean? There's people that I can watch every single day and not be bored of, or not like be like, oh, okay, like Gary Vee's a good example. Like I can watch Gary Vee pretty much every single day, and like just like his little 30-second clips he does on Instagram, and I'm cool. Like, okay, I get it. He's like dropping motivation. He's taking a little piece out of his like whole bigger piece, and that's what he does. But he's not doing like a full on, 5 to 10 minute video, or even 1-2 minute video, whatever, and like trying to get me to suck down a whole concept. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about just kind of like that supply and demand.
Size.
Yeah, just a little piece, a little taste. You know what I mean? And then when I have time to sit down and watch a 10 to 12 minute talk that he does or whatever, you know what I mean? Then I can do that.
Yeah, it is
more valuable to me.
Quite literally like a funnel.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not. This is not universal. I mean, there's people like John Steinberg, who was the ex, like CEO of Cheddar, like up until, or not, excuse me, BuzzFeed. He was like one of the CEOs of BuzzFeed until 2014. He started his own thing.
Okay.
Called Cheddar, kind of very similar, but more focused on video and like, so it'll be like, I don't know, there's some weird toy or invention that like looks cool, and they'll do like a 30-second video on like just featuring it, right?
That's kind of chill. Yeah.
I don't know. Like one thing was like this machine that went around the golf course and picked up golf balls, and it's like just showing you what it does, and it's very cool, right? Okay. They post videos on LinkedIn on Cheddar, which has like over 1 million followers, and then they'll also post it on his personal LinkedIn page, and he'll post multiple times per day. Like it'll be like, 2 hours ago he posted this, 6 hours ago he posted that, and I mean they'll get 100,000 views, 250,000 views, like no big deal, like in a day. So it's like it's not a universal rule. I think what the rule of thumb is, if you start posting daily, then like keep posting daily, right? If you're posting weekly, then post weekly. Right? If you're posting every few hours and then you don't post for 2 days, people are gonna it's gonna throw everything off, right? So basically, my thing was I couldn't find that balance, or I was trying to find that balance of like, do I go quality over quantity or quantity over quality? And I'm kind of been like a pendulum. I was more so for the quantity, and now like with my Sydney video and my Rockwell Automation Fair video, like I've kind of been leaning more towards the quality and not as many videos, but better videos. And I think I almost went a little bit too far that way, because now I've almost created this thing where I don't want to post a video. Like I don't want to just get out his phone and just do a quick 30-second LinkedIn video like I used to, because now it's like, all right, well, now I'm trying to hold myself to this high quality, and I kind of got to break that back down now a little bit too. So
you're just trying to find the balance between like getting out enough quantity, like what is the quantity that you feel you need to do, on a consistent basis, and then, but also still bringing that quality to the quantity that you do.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a tough balance, dude. I mean, it's a balancing act to be said for anything in life, not just like with producing content, but a lot of different things, So
what are you balancing right now?
Everything, every freaking thing. I mean, but everybody is, So personally, I'm on a gaming team right now, which I had never thought I would be ever again after I retired from PUBG and was like, nah, I'm done with this. And then like all of a sudden Halo kind of came around, and there was like a little life there with competitivism again, competitive esports again.
Which Halo?
5.
Halo 5 just came out, or?
No. It's been out for a long time, but there was a really solid opportunity. One of my old buddies from PUBG, and like I've known pretty much since he was in junior high, was like, hey dude, there's this team, you should play. I was like, oh crap, okay, but I never really developed those professional skills in Halo. Even though I'm a good FPS player, like I don't have that kind of like professional level of play to just like pick it up all of a sudden. And like the pro Halo players have been playing for years, you know what I mean? So like I'm not just gonna like start all of a sudden just dominating, the pro Halo scene, So it was just kind of like a little dabble back into like playing for a team and scrimming. This is probably about a month or two ago, I want to say.
Okay.
Somewhere in that range. But now, I don't know. I started playing Black Ops and 4, which came out, and at first I was playing with like Christian and Mike and like our real homies that we've known since high school or a long time, and that was great. That was fun. And then next thing I know, I'm like, well, they're not online, but I have time to play, so let me find someone to play with who's like good. So I found someone I downloaded a little app called GamerLink, and people started posting like, oh, you want to do GBs and this and that. So it's like
game battles.
Yeah, doing game battles. It's like a competitive ladder. Dude, that was the best.
We used to do this thing.
Every time we
was like just like a humping motion with a chair. We won our first game battles game like, gosh, back in high school. We were playing like COD 4 and it was duels. And it's like just you get so like worked up. You're like, fuck, like it's. Search and destroyed. It's like Gabe's like clutching it like 1v2, and then he busts it out, and then we're like, just So that
bouncing around the little office. That was so funny.
That was the old studio.
That was the old studio, yes. So yeah, I kind of started there because people were like, "Hey, you want to do GBs?" And the next thing you know, I'm like on Twitter, and this team's like hitting me up, saying, "Hey, like we need a fifth for this LAN that was gonna happen last Saturday," which we ended up not going. But I made the team, and then now all of a sudden, like the team has a pretty good org owner. Nothing crazy, but I mean, he's paying for our tournaments basically, like online. He'll fund some of the money to go to like LANs and whatnot. But the drive is kind of there again to see whether or not I can make a little extra side hustle, with it. And I mean, I'm good at it. It's a great release for me. Like, it's a really solid passion of mine. Like, I love esports. I always have, even when I was 12, I was like, dude, this is going to be huge one day. Like, esports is going to be the next big sport. It's going to be the next big thing. And here we are in 2018, going into 2019, and it's a $60 billion industry. And it's like, what the frick happened in those amount of years, over the last 14 years.
Yeah. Very much a balancing pendulum because, for a while you were just way deep into gaming and then you're like went 100% opposite the way.
Yeah.
Quit gaming entirely. Now you're trying to settle back in on that sweet
spot.
Yeah,
engage life and still spending time with my fiance, like really good quality time and, not just like, hey, see you later. Like, I'm just going to go play out of the random blue, like having a schedule with it. I just started a business too. So, managing, trying to get that going, pleasing my clients, the few clients that I do have, trying to work on projects, like new projects that I have coming down their pipeline that they want to see done. Trying to get that still going.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I started a business, called it Anomaly Consulting, which I'm officially sending in the paperwork and everything today.
Nice.
So I'm like super, super stoked about it. But it's a really weird blend because I'm still trying to define exactly who I am, but I'm learning by like kind of like offering something and then realizing maybe I'm not like the best person to do this, but let me find someone that is, and let me collaborate with that person, and then we plug that person in with this. So this person can make some money, the client's happy. I maybe get in on a little bit of action on my own side of things.
Connector.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm really learning to just like utilize that skill. Like, hey, I actually am really good at networking. Like, I'm really good at making like connections with people and like remembering who people are, what they do, things like that.
That's a valuable asset.
Yeah, so I'm really focusing on small businesses. I'm not trying to go huge. I'm taking my passion that I had from the business that we did together, with Waterhammer,
right.
Technology integration, and then doing that for small businesses, So, for example, I have a tire store, which it's my dad, my first client ever. Praise the Lord. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate you. Love you. He is allowing me to completely digitize his business, essentially.
Digital transformation?
I mean, don't get crazy on me now. We're not getting like
AR.
Yeah, we're not going AR and stuff. But as far as like the paperwork side of things go,
it'd be so sweet if you could. Just hear me out. You like just show them on an iPad. It's like you just show them their car, but like, and you could just swipe and put different rims on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, essentially they have that.
Yeah, I know because that's like probably not that even hard to do nowadays.
Yeah, most of the bigger wheel companies, they have that on their website.
Okay.
Yeah, where they car color and they put the rim and then it shows like.
No, I'm saying like.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
car, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Dude, that's instant.
Well, have you? There's a British TV show. I think it's called Hottest or Hot Mess or some crap like that. But I saw it, and basically, they do like a makeover of people who like really don't know fashion or like really have a weird look or whatever you want to call it.
So you're doing that for small business technology.
Yeah, but to finish, like they have like a mirror, right? That has like the clothing piece on the mirror, and it shows them on their body.
That's
so.
Cool.
I mean, if we were able to bring a piece of technology like that to a tire store, that'd be freaking insane. Sure, it'd be hella expensive, but yeah. Anyways. The project that we're working on right now is just, a couple security camera issues, upgrading the security system a little bit more, some basic, computer maintenance, tech work, things like that. And then, again, digitizing, can't talk right now, their whole paperwork process. So everything's pretty much like you get the paperwork, you sign it, and then like you have to manually enter it in. Well, I'm trying to get it to the point where I want that to be all on like a file structure,
right.
like a database, essentially, more or less.
Okay.
Just think of like a home computer, but now you have like everything.
You should look at
evened out.
There's an app called FileMaker
Mm-hmm.
that Garrett was using.
Garrett Wolf.
For one of his customers.
Mm-hmm.
They had used it for, think of it like Ignition, but just for building forms. Google, you might want to look. Google also has a tool like that, either in beta or coming out, or basically where you can kind of build your own small app, if you will, which is basically like just a form builder. So imagine if it was like, I don't know, you're a dentist office, and then you just, all right, what's your insurance number? What's your first name? What's your last name? Yes or no on all these questions. Or you can dynamically just build that, and then, you have an app, if you will, and then they can just fill it out. Goes in a database, and then you can build your own screen to like go back and look up those records. And then do reports off that.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like a flexible like accounting / it's like just a flexible software to allow you to build whatever type of workflow that you need.
Okay. But
something like that would.
Yeah, so what I mean, right now we have Tire Guru, so that kind of like
has that functionality built in.
It has all that. They're working on it. They maintain it. Like that's
awesome.
That's a huge project. I mean, I would love to do something like that, but that's like huge.
Yeah.
That is already kind of done.
Yeah.
So I'd be kind of like reinventing the wheel, more or less, so to speak. But like literally just how they enter things in and how they save things, because right now, like. You open up the freaking file cabinet, dude, and you like it's it's like spaghetti strap mess. You have no idea where anything is at any time, and there's a lot of times where we'll get like an inspector that comes through who like it's a fire department or whatever, toxic substances, whatever, and it's like, where did that document go? Or let's say like they ever had an audit for whatever godforsaken reason, they would have an audit. Where are those
sales
files?
Tax receipts?
Yeah, where are those sales tax receipts from 4 years ago, 3 years ago? You know what I mean? Oh, they're sitting in a box among the like 5 other boxes they have for that year, and maybe it's somewhere in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just like expediting, like the back end efficiency process.
Yeah, that's
as well as eliminating a lot of paper, because they spend a hell of a lot of money on paper and ink, like a ton. And then also kind of
interesting.
It's also kind of to jettison them into the 21st century a little bit more, because we're really going to be revamping the website as well, which I'm trying to find a web developer. If you're a web developer, comment. I'm going to hit you up.
Developers.
So I really want to like push the online market as hard as I can. I really want to revolutionize the way that tire stores do business, because right now, I mean, we just had Cyber Monday, right? I mean, I did terrible yesterday in sales at the store because everyone's shopping online, and I think that's a huge testament of like what actually the market is doing. Like, everybody shops online. Everybody shops online now. Like, even freaking grandma shops online. You know what I'm saying? So it's, like, if we're not up to speed,
I ate my grandma.
If we're not up to speed, you know what I'm saying, then we're just falling behind the curve, and we're setting ourselves up for failure. So
you really are.
So by digitizing their whole paperwork process, that kind of puts them a little step in the right direction, and then getting their website like completely redone, because it's like it's ass, dude. Like it's so bad. It's something like out of the 80s, or it's like, oh dude, it's terrible, and there was nothing even around.
Dude, that's very interesting. I would have never really thought about the paper and ink cost just alone as a savings for digital workflow. Like, you always think about like, easier to look up, doesn't burn, like easier to find and stuff like that. You can store many in a smaller space. But I never really thought about like, oh, I'm going to save like a few $100s a month at least from not having to buy ink cartridge and paper reams and
okay, and then here's like the other
environments, obviously.
Yeah, and then here's the other like spin on that too is, you know, like they currently have like those advantages to gain, but then there's also like, okay, what if the customer comes back and like we lost the paperwork? Let's say we lost the paperwork, okay, because it happens, you know, it's a piece of paper, so you're gonna lose it essentially. You know, what happens at that point if you can't find that? Well, if you
looks bad if
stored it,
lose a full-time customer.
Essentially, yeah. But if you stored it, I mean, yes, there's records in the current system they have, but it just doesn't always work the best, or it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So by us taking that to our own personal hands, you know, and saying, okay, look, this is where all our paperwork is. We know when we look this up, this is where it's at. There's no question about it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And then like that also creates another management feature as well, because then like my dad doesn't have to spend so much time down there, and he can just look at like all the inspection sheets
from online
from an RDP. Like, how hard is that? You know what I'm saying? So it really creates a huge management tool synergy for him.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to bring to business owners, because when you're a business owner, yes, like they always say, you know, you're going to be in the business more, you're going to be involved, it's your baby. And I understand that. You know, I'm now a business owner myself. I get it. Like, you're the only one, you know, everything's kind of like it falls into you. But the thing is it doesn't have to be that way. The thing is, truly, if you can collaborate with your employees, because it's, you know, and treat them with respect, you take care of them, you know, you pay them well, you train them, you give them opportunity, and then you put power into their hands so they feel like they have a piece of the pie, you know what I mean? They have a stake in this, then they're more willing to stay for a lifetime. You know, you look at a company like, for example, like Tucker Tire, okay? Dude, those salesmen have been there for like 18 plus years. They have never left. It is the same salesmen, you know what I'm saying? They're just loyal because they're taken care of.
Yeah.
So it creates that, like, just a simple project can create all of those things to like be reality essentially.
It's interesting. The benefit, we're talking about the benefits of digital transformation. You know, Ray just got a new job, and it's kind of a similar field. Like, he used to work at a food manufacturer doing maintenance type work. You know, he'd order parts if the machine went down, you know, Allen Bradley PLC or a new cart or some motor or whatever, like all mechanical, electrical, all that, right? Yeah. And, you know, he quit that job because he was just getting overworked and underpaid and undervalued and respected. And then so he actually found another job at an OEM that makes machines that go service the food industry. So like a tortilla machine or all these different, you know, he works at an OEM now.
Nice.
So he still has that same food and beverage and machine experience. Yeah. But now he's...
And congrats, Ray. I didn't even know. Congrats to you.
So what's interesting, though, he's telling me how efficient their systems are. He's like, it makes my life so easy. He's like, you know, we order this part. He's like, or let's say we get a new PO for a machine, right? He goes, puts in the machine name, and then it like automatically shows all the possible parts that are for that machine, all the possible vendors. He just clicks, check, adds it, hits a button, it creates all the POs for him. Then he can either just email those or call the vendor or whatever. He's talking even to some of the same vendors and stuff. So it's like, and one of the things he said, though, was that the lady who was kind of behind that shit, I mean, they've been in business like a long time, right? So there was a woman there who was behind, like she was the lead of digitally, you know, implementing the software and training everyone. And she had been there for like 18 years. So she was from the beginning through now the point of person to talk to keep that transformation organized. Because if someone's coming and leaving and then no one really knows what the state of the system is, so people develop their own systems, and right? Yeah. So, you know, to be able to have that champion like you are serving for your clients, being the guy that, you know how the system should be laid out and how the workflow should go optimally is really valuable, because then it also reduces turnover, because then people aren't freaking pulling their hair out because their job is just chaos because no one knows what the freak is going on.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Or they're just they feel like they're doing work that could just be easily automated.
Yes. And there's too many companies that do that, dude. They just dick for
I think
very
it's
candid. They just dick their employees.
I think it's changing, man.
It is.
They can't
I've
get away
seen
with
it.
it no more because they're gonna go out of business. Or they're gonna change.
Oh, 100%. So there's definitely been that shift in the just the workforce in general. So recently, I don't know if you know, but I 225 followers, bro. I started at 190 when I started pushing.
Nice.
It was like maybe 3 weeks ago now. So I'm like
Nice.
getting a little steady growth. I get
That's
like
good.
2 or 3 new homies a day. And I'm like, what's up? Hit them all up, try to talk to them, make a little connection.
Nice.
Anyways, back on topic. I recently took a temp job at a company for an IT help desk job. Okay. And they very much so have like a good solid company going. I'm not going to talk about what they do or anything, NDA. But they're a good company, and I was brought aboard so rapidly because their IT person was leaving. Okay, and they wanted to train me, and there was literally it was I went in for the interview, she offered me the job in the same interview. She asked me what would you be willing to come on for right now, and I was kind of hesitant to say, and I said, well, I would come over right now because you need me for the same amount I'm paid right now, which is $18 an hour. And she's like, okay, yeah, sure. But she says, but I'm gonna send you an offer in your email tonight, so that way you have it. So there's kind of this unfortunate assumption on my part that the post pay would be more once I was fully hired on, but that wasn't the case. And I was just kind of well, this is probably not going to work for me because, with my commission, if I'm full time, doing commission, I was probably making about 25 an hour was my average, what I worked it out to be, 24 to 25. And not to mention, the IT help desk positions that are out there are about 22 to 25 an hour.
Right.
So they were trying to underpay for the position, and I'm like, well, there's no chance of negotiating, post pay for it to go higher. She goes, no, honestly, because we brought you on at that, you're going to stay at that for at least a year. And then we can talk about...
Ugh, that just sounds nasty.
And then we can talk about, after your review and after these things, we can talk about possibly paying you more. And so I was just like...
Dude, why do...
I was like, all right.
Why do so many people accept that? It's just...
What
if you were all right, what if you just developed some algorithm or something and it just started making the company millions of dollars? They're not going to fucking just start paying you more? Where's the incentive in that? It's like a freaking sheep life,
That's what I'm saying, dude. So basically I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to go have a conversation, with my fiance to see if that's something we're willing to do and, if we can make that sacrifice. Because it's a lot, Committing, I mean, it's not that much. 40 hours a week is pretty standard, but right. It's just what goes around that, and you structure your life around being there and living and breathing for the company. Yeah. If I'm going to structure my life around something, it's going to pay me.
It's a big commitment.
You're going to compensate me. But, dude, that better be a solid ass 40 hours of I'm doing something where I feel I'm doing something meaningful and I'm passionate about in life. I love technology, so that was one.
Right.
But then the finances didn't match up and they didn't want to do anything for me. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to start my own business because this is just ridiculous. Because then I can at least have control of my workflow of what I want to do, how I want to service people, and then bring my passions to people's lives and businesses. So to be honest, I'm thankful that they dicked me. And, that they had that old company mentality of just
shit. If they were actually smarter, then they would have just I don't know, maybe just given you a little bit to then further just lock you in,
I thought they were honestly going to counteroffer with 21, 20, a couple bucks higher.
It just doesn't even make sense on the grand scheme of things. That's really an insignificant amount of money, right?
It is.
A few $1,000s a year.
It really is. And that's what I'm saying, I mean,
to that,
my God,
to you, to not make a big difference.
Yeah, to not disclose anything, but they were doing a huge project, and the budget was huge, bro. And they're expanding. I'm like, you're gonna tell me that you're spending all this money on this, but then you can't pay me a couple extra $1,000 a year. You're gonna penny pinch over me.
Right.
I get it. Not everyone can be paid a lot. in a company, because then, the company wouldn't be profitable. And the company is there designed to be profitable. I understand the whole side of business. I get it.
Value provided.
But take care of the people that are freaking the lifeblood of the damn company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't just try to cheapskate them out. So that was where I was at with everything. So it was kind of interesting. But I'm really glad I went through that experience, because I wouldn't started my own company. Or
it's
my
kind
own
of like me
business.
Leaving Vertec and then going to Sofa, but then realizing that wasn't for me, and then leaving Sofa, and got me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
In hindsight, if I just stayed at Vertec, I'd probably still be there.
Yeah. Chugging along.
So even if your end destination ends up changing, it's all part of the journey, right? So
yeah,
I'm actually considering right now picking up more of like a full-time position, either at Intellic or I'm actually talking to another company right now that they reached out to me. They found me on Upwork, of all places.
Hey, nice. I have a little thing on Upwork too.
Yeah.
That's legit.
So I either might be doing some contract work for them, or he even, he's wanting to build a team. So he's like, all right, would you prefer to do contract, hourly, or, eventually I'd like, I need to build a team. Would you want to work as an employee? And, you always like thinking like, that'd be nice, just like consistent pay.
Stability.
That's
how they suck you in, dude.
Yeah. So anyways, not that that's a bad thing, right? Because like I kind of was in a position where like the last 6 months I've been making money to get by, but it's been impacting my ability to provide for my family as far as savings, right? We're not really saving a lot of money right now. I mean, to be honest, we actually only had like a month's of save. It would be ideal if we had like a full 6 months funded, fully funded emergency fund. We were debt free when we started. We actually bought a car because my car completely crapped out, and so we did finance that after I quit. So that didn't necessarily help, and then shit happens, right? Like I got a tenant calls me, she's like, rent's going to be 7 days late this month, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess there's not much I can do, right? Thank you for letting me know, but now I gotta cover that. So like it's like it puts some pressure on us financially, right? And so I was like, shit, I'm still only 26, right? There's no shame in getting a job if that's what I need right now to provide for my family.
Same.
And I could still focus on my business as a side hustle, and perhaps it might even thrive more, or I might meet some people at this job that I might end up doing marketing for them, or who knows, right? Like, so yeah, that's what I'm kind of considering right now. But yeah, I think I like what you said, man. I can't really just take it that lightly, because to just really structure my whole life around, I mean, it would be a remote, the other job I'm talking about, and for Intellic would be remote. Either way, I'd want to still keep working for Intellic, doing their marketing.
Oh, of course.
But, yeah.
You really gotta...
A full-time commitment is like, all right, well, I can't just pick up and go to fucking wherever I want to go, because I kind of have an obligation to work for this company, even if it's at home. I could work remotely, but, I mean, when I went to Sydney, there's like a whole day where I'm on a plane. Like, how much actual effective work can I get done?
Yeah.
In a plane, right? So it's like I got to really think about that before I fully do that, right? And who knows? I think it'll work out. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely more adventurous people than a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people would have to have a lot to say about our mindset of not like
Gary
wanting that.
Would say that we're so young. He talks to like people 28, 30. It's like, you guys could literally not do anything for like 2 years, 3 years, whatever, 5 years, 10 years. Because he started like when he was like 35 or something.
Yeah, he was hella old when he started his YouTube channel.
So he's like, don't go fuck off, but like don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like if you're 20, if you're 23, he's like, don't put so much pressure on yourself to like win right away. Like he's like, if you knew that you could just start in 10 years, and still crush it and be ahead of the game, or like you could just take 2 years off and travel, you would go do that because you have nothing to lose, right? So in a way, the last 6 months, I had nothing to lose. So even if I go back to working a job, I don't view my entrepreneurial journey as a failure. I view it as a stepping stone to a higher destination,
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, and I really agree with Gary a lot on a lot of different topics. But he literally would say, "Go fuck off." Like that's just,
but
that's him.
If I had
what he would say.
Case in point, if I had a 6-month fully funded emergency fund, we probably could have just bought the car with cash. We could have had a bigger buffer, so like we're not just really just skirting like.
Dude, I'm just skirting by right now. I mean,
okay, so like Mary's phone broke, right, and we still have a we were making payments on the phone because it sounds stupid, but like they're like, okay, you get a $300 off this phone, but it's in bill payment credits. So if you just pay it off, you don't get
the credits.
So fuck,
So you almost double pay. Or no, I guess you just pay the difference.
They force you into financing it, right? Because then
they did it to me. So I'm paying on this phone bill payments, I get the credit and everything.
Yeah. So, anyways, right, shit happens, right? That's why being debt free and having an emergency fund is so crucial, and especially if you're going to do an entrepreneurial journey. I would not recommend what I did. 1 month of savings and just quit outright and had no reasonable work lined up really.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing right now is like a humongously beautiful balance.
Yeah, because you're still working for Tire Pros.
Yes, I still have a part-time there. I get guaranteed 2 days, and the few other days I'm pretty much just billable hours for them because I'm working on projects for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then here and there I pick up a third day shift, and that's really all Laura and I need now. Our needs are a lot different than your needs, and we have a lighter rent. It's just her and I. It's not me, her, and a kid. You know what I mean? So there's definitely key differences. But even if not, like, let's just say I worked part-time. Let's say you work for Intellic part-time. You got paid pretty well, that helps subsidize and brings some stability to your life. And then it almost, like, for me, it almost, like, helps. Not just financially, but it helps, like, fuel my fire.
Exactly.
Just enough to get out there and, like, fuck, dude, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, bro, I'm grinding. Like, I'm talking to clients. I'm contacting everybody I need to talk to. I'm trying to collaborate. I'm trying to network. I'm trying to sit here and make a podcast.
I almost had it too easy, so I was, like, not really motivated to go out and get more clients because I'm like, fuck, I'm already traveling the world. I'm making enough, so. I don't know. I think Intellic would probably be the best because I've already been working for them for so long, right?
Yeah.
And Walker and I work really well, and I'm already doing the marketing, so, I think that would probably be ideal. I'm actually going out there tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the plan for 2019 marketing and engineering, and they're going through restructuring. So, hopefully that goes well. But if not, I feel much better having this other opportunity on the table because now we can actually I can talk with Intellic and be like, all right, if this makes sense, then this is what we'll do. But don't feel like you have to give me a job because I have this other opportunity. So, like, only if it makes sense, let's do this.
Yeah, no, definitely. It makes sense for both parties. And you just need to weigh out with pros and cons and see what your best fit is.
It's cool because Walker gets it. He's like, how much do you need to, when we first started, he's like, how much do you need to make so Mary's not down your throat, right? Because then you're not going to be able to perform. And for me, that number was like 5,000. And so we had split it up where I was going to do, we'd already talked about doing this. I was going to do this much marketing and that much programming, but then I ended up not doing the programming work because each of us didn't invest the time into getting, like, me familiarized with their systems and their projects, and so I just ended up not billing them for that portion of the work, and for that time I was okay with it because I was still doing a little bit of other stuff on the side, but it was like net 60, and so and like then it took a while to get paid, and then I didn't work for a month, and then I wouldn't get paid. So anyways, it just ended up being probably a little bit of a
scramble essentially. Like on your end, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was like, all right, well, I liked having that space to be able to go do the things that I did because it allowed me the freedom to really just navigate videos and podcasts and networking and without, like, feel like it was taken away from something else.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, I mean, shit, for the past 6 months, I've probably only worked about 20 hours per week, like actual work. I mean, it was all kind of work, but like actually sitting down editing videos or sitting down doing actual client work, probably about 20 hours a week. So I really only work part-time like the last 6 months, but I've been doing stuff full-time, right? Been doing engagement. I mean, that's not counting engagement or my personal YouTube channel. Or like when I went to Rockwell Automation Fair, I went to the fair for 2 days, but I only really, really worked. I mean, it was all work, but I only really worked like a few hours each day, right? Because, I'm out there talking. And one of the things that was hard was like at Automation Fair was, or just at any conference, is like, how much time do I dedicate to shooting video content versus how much time do I take to edit the video content? Because if I shoot too much, now I have too much it really quickly will be too much content to edit and not enough time to actually edit it, right? But then if you shrink down how much time you film, now you have all this other time and not even enough film to actually edit. So that balance, it doesn't sound like it'd be a big problem, but it's actually much more difficult than you would think, right?
Dude,
so
editing is probably the hardest part of creating.
I definitely went more overboard on the filming because there's all this not backlog, but like I got probably another handful of videos that I could create from Rockwell Automation Fair, but like I haven't had time to, or I mean I probably have had time. I've been focusing on a few other things, but like maybe if I had maybe not filmed for another hour that day, but then went to a spot, uploaded, edited, pumped out a few videos, that probably would have been much better balance, right?
Oh yeah,
because then. Or like my Sydney video, for example, I filmed so much for Sydney. I haven't even edited a vlog yet for it because it's almost like I kind of get anxiety. It's like, oh shit, there's too much footage to go through.
Yeah, it's a hard mountain to tackle. I know exactly what you're talking about. It gets crazy,
Yeah.
It's just you're finding your balance,
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to making a little bit more money because that'll be kind of nice because then I could start saving some more and maybe getting some more gear. That's always been one thing I've been kind of limited on, like this MacBook 2015. It's kind of a bottleneck for me because of how long it takes to actually edit and export videos.
Hey, I'm on a Chromebook Acer 2013.
Can you actually edit videos?
Can't do nothing on this damn thing. I could look at YouTube.
It's a Chrome
Sometimes.
browser.
It's literally an oversized Chrome browser. It's basically a thin client. Supposedly I have Spotify on this thing, but no, not really.
Really?
I mean, it kind of works.
What is this?
It's just yeah. It's just I don't know.
Acer Chromebook. Link it down below.
Hey, honestly, I recommended my dad to get one just because like he had like a really crappy laptop and all he does is pretty much browse things. He has Chrome on it. So
Mary's got one of these. It works really well.
Yeah, mine is just an older one. I got it for $100.
SD card, USB 3.
Yeah, it's just a little bit older. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of glitchy. I notice like I get kicked off of Wi-Fi randomly, or like the whole thing just bogs down and I can't do anything. So I restart it and then it works just perfectly fine. So it just kind of depends on what I'm trying to do. But editing videos, hell no, not on this thing. I've actually been looking at the Razer Blade.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one.
$2,100. It's basically like the newest Mac. Like the specs are the same, but $1,000 cheaper. Actually, I think it's like $2,300 cheaper. I did a lot of shopping because I was considering with my my first client.
Do the Mac versus PC debate.
Dude, honestly...
What about your first client, though?
Well, just like using the funding that I got to just fund that all into the business. Get a freaking laptop that can handle editing stuff, but I don't really have a heavy need right now for that. So I'm kind of just chilling off of not having something that can edit. If I could do videos, oh, dude, I'd be pumping out my own podcast,
Maybe I'll sell you this when I get my new thing.
All right, deal.
So I got the Surface, right?
Yeah, do you still have that thing or you sell it?
I do have it.
Okay. And
it's pretty beast. It streams pretty well. 1280, 720p streams pretty good. It edits videos okay on Adobe. I was using Adobe Premiere Rush, and there was actually some issues, but I'm pretty sure that was mostly with Rush as the software because it's so new.
Okay.
Rush is like the simple drag and drop editor, lower version of like Adobe Premiere Pro.
Oh, okay,
And it's also cross-platform, so it can go from Mac, PC to iPhone.
Yeah.
Sync all those files, together, and you have the same editing experience on your phone. You start a project on your phone, pick it up on your laptop.
I think I've seen someone using that before.
Not too much of that has ever really existed. You've had like editors on the desktop, and then you've had light editors on your phone. But
yeah. That's probably what I've seen. Then is like the light. I think that's exactly what I've seen.
Right.
Like a Photoshop Lite, and then like the Photoshop on.
So Rush is the same project file, and I mean it's actually a really cool concept. It's the same project on your PC is on your phone. Wow. Everything you can do on the phone, you can do on the PC. So I'm like, okay. And then even if you wanted to, let's say you want to do something more advanced, you could you could take that same project file, open it up in Adobe Premiere Pro, do some more advanced editing, and then finish it out, right?
Dude, that is sick.
And that is all the things that you'd expect, like publish straight to social. You could do square videos or whatever, so you can kind of have more social, web-based focused videos as opposed to like full feature-length film kind of editing. So anyways, I was like, all right, I was stoked about it, and I tried editing on it, and I just could not.
No, it wasn't that good.
Wasn't that good. It didn't have even speed ramping, so like any of my slow motion stuff I couldn't really do, which was sucked. So that alone killed Rush, and I was like, all right, now do I start tackling Premiere? And that's just Premiere is like it's got such a learning curve, and it also exports slower on a PC. It definitely exports slower on a Mac than it does on a PC, but it exports slower on a PC than Premiere does on a Mac. Like you take the same video, you do the same edits, you export it on a Premiere, and you export it on Final Cut on a Mac, it'll do like a third the time on the Mac, right? Even with a bigger processor, like a beef, weird. Even though Mac may not have as good of specs, it'll run better with lower specs than equivalent PC will.
Really?
Right.
Interesting.
So
it's got to be something in coding then,
right?
In the source code or something.
Yeah, it's very well optimized because they control the hardware and the software, so they can optimize it directly, right? Sense. Whereas Windows, it's like this abstraction layer.
Got it.
So, as much as I was like, I told my fans, I'm like, or my followers, I'm like, yo, I'm quitting the Mac ecosystem. Like, I moved off the iPhone to the Pixel. I am now moving off my MacBook to a Windows laptop. And then by the end of that, like before I finished editing that vlog, I was back on Mac, back on iMovie. Also, the trackpad, for some reason, I like editing better with the trackpad than a mouse.
Really?
I don't know if that's just because I've gotten so accustomed to editing on this thing and just like I'm very just quick with it.
Fluid, probably, yeah.
Like even I have a Bluetooth mouse for this. I don't use it. I just use this. And this trackpad.
To be fair though, Mac trackpads are really freaking next level, dude.
So like you take all that, you take the smoothness and accuracy of the trackpad, the quickness of the editing of the software on, you put all that together, and I'm like, I really need to go. I want to go into Final Cut Pro.
So you're basically saying,
I want to get a better Mac. I might get the new MacBook Air.
I was looking at those. Were they like 3,300, dude?
No. That's Pro. MacBook Airs, I think they start at like 1,300. They can definitely, go up from there, but
sufficient enough though.
It's basically like this. It looks like this. It's a 13-inch instead of a 12.
Okay.
And it has 2 USB-C ports on the side. They've updated the keyboard so it's doesn't get as stuck as much, but it's still very low profile like that, and still not a touchscreen, but yeah, so it's basically like this, but also better processor and stuff like that. So,
but that's sufficient enough.
Yeah, Craig Adams, minimalist filmmaker on YouTube, he got the MacBook Air and the new one, and he's editing 4K on it just fine. He actually went from the Pro down to the Air, just to be more minimalist.
That might be something I need to look into myself.
Yeah, so
that would be a huge help to me.
But every time I get to it, I'm like, all right, well, I can do 85-90% of the stuff I need to with this. It just takes a little bit longer to export. So I and especially since I haven't had a whole lot of extra funds, I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. But like I was saying, if I got another, bigger paycheck and more consistent, then I can actually invest in some of those things a little bit more, right?
Yeah. So that or grow your
business. I was thinking about hiring a Fiverr freelancer to outsource some of my video editing or podcast editing, posting and things like that. So, in a weird way, I could make more money doing what I'm really good at, which is automation stuff, which I can get paid a lot to do, but I'm not. I could do that, and then I'll have less free time, but with the money I can be more efficient and still almost do the same, if not more, content and marketing and things like that, just by leveraging my money instead of my time.
Exactly. It's key.
And then
something to consider. It's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. So it's finding that balance between marketing and video production and content creation and actual programming and being in the industry. Because that's the other thing I was missing over the last few months is I haven't really been in the industry, so I kind of feel a little bit disconnected from it. Doing programming each week for actual work and jobs will make me more sharp, make me more what I'm talking about more relevant.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because you're literally in it.
You know what's crazy? So in the past few months, I got sponsored Aviva to go to Aviva World, Wonderwear, California, and Aviva. They comped me a $1,200 ticket and paid for my travel and hotel and airfare and stipend. They paid me to go to provide media coverage to Aviva World, go to Rockwell Automation Fair. I go to the Ignition Community Conference, although I could not actually get in, but I'm still there. Getting sponsors. So it's within the last 6 months, I've actually had this vision and actually had it come to fruition. Being an automation influencer, being a independent source of relevant information for our industry, monetized through, sponsorships and partnerships and freebies and it's actually happened. So it's pretty weird how being able to focus on something actually makes it happen. Go figure.
Hey man, it took me a year to go pro in PUBG and 3 years of trying different games. But once I actually sat down and was I'm gonna do this. This is the game.
It will not take no for an answer.
Not gonna take no for an answer, no matter what it looks like. And I did it.
Yeah, you did.
Same to you, bro. You did it. It really goes to show this is really a mental game.
Yeah, but then your comparison mindset tries to sneak in, and then I'm Aviva World, they have it all over the world, and I'm looking at photos of Jay, their digital marketing guy for Aviva, that I worked with at the Aviva. It was Aviva World North America, which was in Dallas. I'm seeing him at Aviva World South America, Aviva World Asia. They're literally in Tokyo right now. I'm oh damn, that'd be so cool to get a year contract where I go to all these Aviva Worlds and
And I think that's something to strive for.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Cool. That would be a next step for you. There's always
but I'm thankful that I even got that. When I actually look at it that way, it's oh shit, why would I be ungrateful? I mean, I already got sponsored to go to Aviva World North America.
Yeah, it's sick.
That was a huge risk for them. Not a huge risk, but is new for them, right? This is a new territory. Not many people have really thought about that type of concept where they're paying someone who's not directly working for them to put content for them, but also puts content out for their competitors. So it's all right, how do we really trust you? Is this gonna work? Is it gonna be worth it? And I think it went pretty well,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think it's just the shift that companies are going to.
If I can get invited back to next year's Aviva World North America, that would be awesome.
There you go. Something to strive for, and then try to get to Tokyo. And, dude, take me with you as your second cameraman.
I think 50 people or something from Aviva saw my Sydney video. So I'm definitely thinking I'm not the only person who has thought about that. Let's just put there, because I mean, when I actually put my mind and focus on a video, I'd like to think that I have a little bit of talent, right? Or maybe not talent, whatever you want to call it. If I actually pour my... I mean, with anything in life, anyone, not just me, it's like you put your actual something you're passionate about, it shows, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
So they're like, you know, I guess maybe they could start seeing that. Let's finish it off.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so fucking annoying.
You definitely need a slight upgrade on your camera. Is it the camera or is it the SD or what is it? Or is it a setting?
So the camera, I think it's the file format that it records in, has like a max limit of 4 gigabytes per file.
Is it RAW?
It is
I don't know how it would
MOV or MP4?
Oh, okay.
MP4?
Yeah.
No, I don't know actually.
Okay.
But anyways, I think it's more so the file system that it's formatted in. I think like FAT32 has a max file size of 4 gigs or something, or 2 gigs. So because it's 32-bit or something, I don't know. So for whatever reason, my camera has a max file size of 4 gigs. I don't know why it doesn't just start. It used to just start recording again though. I feel like it used to.
I don't know. Every time we've done it, you had to stop.
Okay, wait, no, okay, so here's what it does, right? So after 30 minutes, it actually hard stops, but in that 30 minutes, it might create 2 files. So it does stop, and then like pretty much the next frame, it starts recording again.
Got it.
And but I don't, why would it reach a max recording time? So I'm shooting on the Canon M50, and it's one of the newer Canon mirrorless line of cameras. Like everyone knows the Sony mirrorless cameras, like A6500 and A7 III and all that. So I chose to go with the Canon mirrorless because I really like where they're going with it. But they just came out with a full frame Canon mirrorless camera. So instead of a crop sensor, it's like full frame. And that one's called the Canon EOS R. And I've heard some really good things about it. So, we'll see.
Just got to keep doing it, keep shooting it.
But the lenses are where the investment is, and you can always upgrade the body.
Oh yeah. Lenses are always your most expensive part, no matter what. Yeah, man, I really need to get you out with this camera, and for you to help me shoot some video.
Okay.
With my camera, I just need batteries.
What camera you got?
I know it's a Canon. I forgot the model number on it though. It was like a M1
T6i or Rebel.
I think it's a Rebel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like entry level Canon DSLR.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, it was actually a Laura, so she's just like, oh yeah, just.
It shoots video.
Pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not only just photos.
Cool.
So
that works. Huh?
I know there's a couple projects that I wanted to try out, like to see if I can build like a YouTube following for a client.
Right.
And doing like some specialized, tip videos or different things like that. And being able to integrate that into their social media content that I'm creating for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well it would work or how efficient it would be, or if that would be like the best use of my time. So I'm kind of just like, meh, still trying to figure it out.
Let's set up a YouTube channel for this podcast.
I'm down.
And then that way it's just what you see is what you get. It's just this podcast, then we can build a subscriber base from zero and then really actually connect with the people that are watching it.
I'm down.
I think that would be the best. And then we can have that experience of growing it from scratch, marketing it, etc.
Yeah, we do it as like a little showcase. See if we can help out other podcasters grow their podcasts and see what we learn and help them out. Help you guys out.
Let us know, guys.
Appreciate your time. If you watch this far, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe to be able to stay tuned for the actual official YouTube channel we're going to put this podcast on. Follow Zach and his crazy adventures, traveling the world, being a content creator. Follow me on Twitter. We'll put some links down below, Instagram, and my business journey and my gaming journeys. Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace. Nice, dude. Very, very nice.
Let's do a quick office tour. So here we have the bench, the lighting, the backdrop. We got the command station, the control center, the control room, lighting, storage behind that blanket. You know, some little decorations. Never mind that bottle right there. There we have the rig. What's up, guys? All right, peace out.